Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to Full Bore Silver, checking in from the outside command center. Absolutely gorgeous day here today in Texas. We have silver coming off yet another epic smashdown last night, 8:15 to 8:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. One giant red candle in the off hours. Doesn't seem like a free and fair market move to me, but who knows? We are recovering now a little bit, chopping around. We've been talking about this for the last couple days. The market needs to digest these major moves from Friday. We have the NASDAQ down today. We have the SPX, all the commodities getting smoked today. The economy in general is in sort of a discovery period. Markets in general. Evidently, the economy doesn't need commodities anymore. No silver, gold, oil, natural gas, uranium, lithium, any of that. So I guess we move back into running an economy on artificial intelligence, Carvana, and Reddit. So we'll see where this goes. We're going to keep an eye on it. I will say the silver chart looks ugly, but candlestick charting, developed by Japanese rice traders in the 1700s, is meant to analyze the psychology of the market over a spread of hundreds of millions of traders worldwide. Not 10 or 20 bankers that control paper futures contracts. This is not the control group that candlestick charting analyzes. Okay, these are not free and fair markets. There is some similarity here between the Bitcoin plunge that we've been talking about for days and weeks. I had a nervous Bitcoin investor call in today. He just couldn't believe the precipitous drop from not even a month ago in the 90s. Now we're getting into the mid 60s. My next major level for Bitcoin is 53,000. It is not supply and demand driven from Bitcoin holders. Binance, Wintermute, these major billion-dollar players, these are the guys that are trading. They're using wash trades, spoofing, naked shorts, etc. to manipulate these markets. So you see that reflected in these COMEX prices. I like to kind of tune that out. This is why you hold the physical, because you're largely immune to these short-term market fluctuations. You've got Bank of Montreal, even JP Morgan, Goldman coming out with very bullish targets on gold and silver. Zoom out and don't get too despondent on these hourly ticks and these after-hours moves. One market that is very, very low is the ammo and firearms market, which is wild because all their inputs are at almost all-time highs. You're talking brass, lead, copper, gunpowder, steel, aluminum. All of these commodities are at all-time highs, but you can get 9mm ammo for less than 20 cents a round. It's wild. I saw a Bushnell scope last night that's a $300 scope for sale on Palmetto for under $100. This is wild because with labor costs, the cost to operate a business, you couldn't construct that scope. What I think it is a lack of liquidity in the system in general. Because of the sky-high interest rate hike, the fastest in history under Biden and the Fed that took place a couple years ago, there just isn't the lending and the liquidity in the system. And a lot of these companies want to roll out their 2026 products. They just don't have the liquidity. So they have to create fire sales on some of their other products just to generate enough liquidity to buy the new products to keep their businesses running. I'm stocking up on, sales. I'm out there looking. I've got to double down a little bit on some of my home protection gear, at least have thousands and thousands of rounds for the calibers that I use. That's brass, that's lead, copper, gunpowder. In 2019, gunpowder was $20 to $30 a pound. In 2026, it's $50 to $60 a pound, and yet ammo prices are down today. I look at those charts too. Barrick came out with their earnings this morning and blew them out of the water. Beat on top and bottom line. $6 billion in revenue versus an estimate of $5.2 billion. They increased their dividend by 140%. 42 cents a share quarterly paid on their dividend, Barrick. Their numbers beat their forward estimates, their projections for the next 4 quarters, and the gold price, zooming out, continues to go up. What did Wall Street do today? It punished Barrick. It's down 3-4%. This is a great company. I bought a few more shares. Vizsla, major silver miner, mainly in Mexico, had 10 people abducted from their Panuco mine in Concordia, which is in Sinaloa state in Mexico. So the cartels kidnapped, probably never to be seen again, 10 people out of their mining operation there. Stock's been plummeting. The Panuco mine, the projection there is 15 million ounces of silver over the next 10 years. They've got to get things straight down there. Vizsla does not make any money. They are revenue negative. So you have to look at these technicals before you just follow recommendations from people on X of which miners to buy. Barrick makes a boatload of money. Vizsla does not make any money. They are operating in a very promising commodities and precious metals market. Vizsla is getting hammered right now. Before I forget, somebody asked about JD Vance and the comments that he made on setting price floors for critical resources, precious metals. This was tried before in the USSR, fixing prices so there was no supply demand. It doesn't work. The government is neither smart enough nor efficient enough to be an effective regulator of free and fair markets. JD Vance, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. The guy's had 4 different names. Who changes their name 4 times? He sort of has this narrative built up about, hillbilly elegy in his book and his movie, and he worked at a hedge fund. He was given a no-show job at a hedge fund by Peter Thiel. He didn't even write his own book. He is a construction. He is an actor in the grand theater of politics. I don't want to see the government involved in any sort of price structure manipulation of precious metals. What the government should do is completely dissolve the COMEX and all the futures trading. That would be a positive step to free market price discovery in silver and gold. So we'll continue to monitor that. Getting back to the manipulation, this reminds me of, I don't know if you ever read about this, but the Greyhound racing tracks that basically the mafia operated a lot in Florida. We had one down here in Corpus Christi. They've operated in Macau, China, Australia, etc. And basically the mafia would fix these dog races. They'd dope some of the dogs. They'd hobble some of the dogs. They'd manipulate the spreads and the odds. And then they would steal all the money from the degenerates that went and gambled on the dogs. It's not dissimilar to what's going on with the COMEX manipulation. They're fixing the paper price. They're running it down, they're buying at the bottom, refilling however many physical ounces they have to have that many paper contracts, run it up, wash out longs on margin, and just rinse and repeat. I don't know how long this game keeps up. We'll keep an eye on it for you. But these markets, I think they chop for the next few days. So that's your update today. Have a fantastic day. Full Bore Silver. We'll talk.